Hi everybody, Jim Van Dyke with Breach Clarity. I wanted to tell you about an unusual data breach situation that's unfolding right now with a company called Blackbaud. They're the provider to a number of nonprofit organizations, 136 at current count on our website at Breach Clarity, that use Blackbaud to host their data and try to keep it safe, which didn't happen. And I wouldn't really be focused that much on this except for I discovered, after almost overlooking it, a data breach notice in my spam email folder, which told me I've been the victim of a data breach as a result of a nonprofit that I'd given money to in New York City earlier this year. So, these data breach notices, you may not think that much about them, but you on average, whoever's listening to this, US adult with a bank account, you get about 2 of these a year. People don't remember them because they don't know what to do. They're just confused and frustrated, as they should be when they get these notices. So this letter telling me about the Blackbaud data breach from the nonprofit I gave money to says how much they care about me, how concerned they are. Nothing bad happened so far to anybody's identity, which is the wrong message to send. No one knows that. Don't tell people that there's no risk created if there was risk created. Look, they're saying that people should remain vigilant, and if there's identity theft and fraud, which is what data breaches create, they should report it to Blackbaud or to law enforcement. Like, I'm supposed to flag down a police officer and say, let me tell you about my data breach case or the fraudulent transactions going on. Police officers have better things to do with that, and they're not trained on how to understand where a breach creates risk of various identity theft, fraud, and scam types. So when I took this particular data breach, this organization I gave money to, and I just typed the name of Blackbaud because the emphasis in the letter was on there. I went into our website and typed it in. I found 136 different organizations that relied on these guys. And then when I looked them up, not just the organization where I had the data breach at, but I looked up several. I started to find that they had different scores. It's like an earthquake score, the breach clarity score. This one was a 1 here at Colby College. Another one, the Diocese of Gaylord, was a 2. And this one, the AIDS Foundation Chicago, was a 3. Why were they different? Because each breach apparently exposed different identity credentials, which in turn, when you expose different identity credentials, you raise a different pattern of identity theft, scam, and fraud risks. And that matters because people, the breach victims, need to take unique actions. Just like your doctor diagnoses your medical condition and what's ailing you and says, here's the prescription of either things we're going to change, working on you, medicine we're going to give you. That needs to be unique to every single data breach. So when I looked these up, I found different diagnoses and different prescriptions for actions for every data breach. And my worry is people would just say, oh, it was the Blackbaud data breach, and they won't pay attention to that. That's why we break it down for every one of those 136 and counting data breaches. So what's my message? For the Blackbaud data breach, 136 victims, nonprofits, unfortunately, and counting, we need people to focus on what's unique in terms of risks created and actions that are appropriate now to minimize the risk of identity theft, scams, and fraud, which occur every day because breaches occur every day. I hope this is helpful, and I hope that people will follow a specific prescription for their identity safety. Thank you. Jim Van Dyke here at Breach Clarity. Be safe.